Watford's stay in the Premier League has come to an end after 1,784 days as the Hornets succumbed to a 3-2 defeat at Arsenal earlier here today. If the Hornets had stayed up, they would have matched a club record 6th consecutive season in the Premier League from 1982 to 1988. Instead, they are following Norwich and Bournemouth to the Championship. It's going to be the first time they play in the Championship after 5 years, after gaining promotion in 2015 under Slaviša Jokanovic, and things couldn't really have started worse today, as it was West Ham United or revisited. The Hornets conceded 3 goals in the space of 33 minutes as Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who was still within a shout of winning the Golden Boot, gave Arsenal an early lead, slotting home his penalty and further denting Watford's chances of staying in the Premier League. 19 minutes later, Tierney doubled the advantage before the Gabon superstar made it 3-0 after converting an immaculate and exquisite overhead kick to send Watford to the second tier of English football. Instead of giving up and throwing in the towel, a dejected Watford squad showed a reaction. They looked dead on their feet, but it was on the stroke of half-time when Troy Deeney showed his penalty specialities. But after the interval, Welbeck had the chance to score against his former side, as he was put through on goal with only the goalkeeper to beat. Instead of firing a diagonal shot or dinking the goalkeeper, he shot straight at him. But despite the early miss a couple of minutes earlier, still preying on his mind, the former gunner scored against his old club to all but give Watford a boost in optimism. However, that was too little too late, and Arsenal's resolute defending meant that Watford couldn't manage to get an equaliser, which would not have been enough to keep them in the Premier League anyway, because Aston Villa also drew. And yeah, if both clubs had been level on points, it would have been the Hornets to go down. But where did it all go wrong for Watford this season? I think, if you ask me, the 6-0 thrashing at the hands of Manchester City in last season's FA Cup final had a psychological impact on the group, because most of the players were confident that they could play in the Europa League at the club, that they could finally get to the next level, and that defeat meant that Watford were back at square one. They lost the confidence, it even affected their motivation going into the season, and it's not wrong to say that they kind of picked up where they left off in September, losing their curtain race against Brighton 3-0 at home. That kind of set the tone for pretty much the whole campaign. Confidence was wrecked. The manager, the former manager, Ravi Gracia, was apparently not happy that the club didn't buy any central defenders. And yeah, at times some of Watford's defenders looked like they never met each other in their life before. There was no cohesion there was no unity in the squads. They conceded too many goals on set pieces. And then also their charismatic leader, Troy Deeney, is a great penalty taker. He converts most, if not all of his penalties, but his end product has let him down many times this season. He's been found wanting on the counter-attack, and it's not the Troy Deeney from a couple of years ago. It's not wrong to say that he's a fading force, if not already a faded force. Maybe for the Championship he still has what it takes to make the difference and score between 12 and 15 goals. Now is not the time to have self-pity, remorse, reproach or recriminations, because in 6 weeks' time the new season will get underway and Watford will play in the Championship for the first time since 2014-2015. And I think many of these players will call it quits, will leave the club. There will be a mass exodus. I think if a team concedes 64 goals and only scores 36 goals, yeah, it becomes very, very complicated to avoid a drop. And I think Watford have too often looked like a side without confidence. The squad often gave up after falling behind, and there have been too many false dawns. And every time you thought that Watford had turned the corner, like after the Manchester United victory or the Liverpool one, they beat Jurgen Klopp's man 3-0, inflicting the first defeat of the campaign to the future champions. that was probably the right win at the wrong moment, because many players thought, okay, we are out of the woods now. Aston Villa, when they saw Watford, they might be dead and buried, but probably that win was the beginning of the end for Watford. And it's wrong to say they went down because they didn't have spectators, they played behind closed doors. Every club played behind closed doors, even Bournemouth, even Norwich, even Aston Villa, who stayed up, they all played behind closed doors. But I don't think that if you take the players one by one, that Aston Villa are stronger than Watford. I think other than Jack Grealish, Watford and Aston Villa are more or less, equally good in each department. In terms of goalkeepers, defense, midfields, attack, they are more or less the same, but Grealish is probably the one who made the difference for Aston Villa. Watford didn't have a talisman like him.